do, 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 do.
Wow, that's cool elevator music there, Mr. Lowry.
I'm just waiting. You know what? I don't even know what game show that is. Oh, it's Jeopardy. Isn't it Jeopardy?
It could be
Jeopardy.
Bossier Watch Jeopardy. Hey, I just want to let everybody know as a couple of folks start joining in. I should have titled the show instead of On Fire for Positivity. I should have named it Turning Over a New Leaf. Do
Well,
you
what do
see
you?
our list of topics there, Mr. Lowry?
Well, I do. Bo and all the other dogs in the house, they're all happy and barking. And yeah, I
Yeah.
see those topics.
Everybody's happy, happy, happy. We're talking about positive stuff tonight. That's it. No negative stuff. Everything is hunky dory in Bossier City and Bossier Parish, as far as I'm concerned. Everything's going great. It's going to be a short show tonight.
Very short. Hey, and you know what? This weekend, Hank Williams Jr., there was a concert, and I got to tell y'all, he still has it.
Did
He
you go
has
to?
it.
You went to the concert?
I went and I had a joyous time.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
that's good.
it was simply capital.
I was down there hanging out with high school kids and fishing stuff and all that. Meanwhile, you were up here going to Hank Williams Jr.
I was. It was amazing. I got to tell you, he walked out on stage, he started playing, and I could not think of another hit of his. He even played some Eagles. I mean,
Wow.
he played everything, every number one record I think he's ever had, and I couldn't think of one that he didn't have. He played them all, and when he was done, he was done. He just walked out. There was
See ya.
turned the lights on, and he's out of there. And that's what he did.
Drop the mic. So, see, he still has it. He's still singing pretty good, entertaining pretty good, and all that.
Yeah. I mean, look, he wasn't just hopping around on stage like a 30-year-old or a 20-year-old, but I mean, look, for his age, he was getting it.
I don't even know how old he is these days, but is it like some of his rowdy friends have settled down?
I don't know that he's settled down. Look, he was wearing a wig. I'll tell you that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I just it was kind of a weird deal. He was wearing a wig and kept changing all these hats. I don't know what was up with that.
Very interesting. All right, well, let's see who we've got. We've got Judy Stewart. Ricky Bridges is watching. Hey, Ricky Bridges. I sent an email to Kelly Keith, and I want to say I sent it to you. I guess I had the right address about getting one of y'all, or somebody from the Bass Life Association to come on the Outdoor News because I want to discuss the Bass Life Association. So check your email, or I need to get with you and make sure I got the right email address. Anyway, glad to have all y'all watching. Cassie Casario Rogers is watching. Our good friend, of course, Christopher James Norris is watching. We got about 25 people. What do you say we go ahead and go to the countdown? I am so full of positivity, I just almost can't stand it.
Well, let's go to that countdown. Let's come back and let's talk about all of the good things that have happened around Bossier today.
That's right. No negativity. We will be right back, folks, about 3.5 minutes. Y'all get your popcorn out, get your little frou-frou drinks with the little, little umbrella things ready, and fruity drinks and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to be back to have the positive show from Bossier Watch.
If folks knew a lot of the back office on the politicians that they think walk on water, they would be shocked. There's an old wound from a knife in my back that just is giving me heck lately, and it's just really irritating, so I have to kind of wiggle around a little bit.
Well, I've not heard my name in stable or Baton Rouge in stable in the same sentence in a long time.
I titled it A Shot Across the Bow of the Good Old Boys.
Just, they feel helpless, they don't feel heard, they have nowhere to turn.
Some Republicans as well believe that government has the answers. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know anything government does well. Nothing.
And aren't there laws that say that you have public meetings so that the public can have accountability of their elected officials?
They're making a little bit of progress, but I would definitely have to give the race to Caddo Parish right now. Yeah.
I don't know. Is there anybody from Plain Dealing watching, you think?
As a member of the media, I'm very concerned about what I've just heard.
Did you or did you not requisition money to fight against this or for it? We hired a lobbyist, and it cost us $15,000. We were opposed to HB 630.
So for this week, folks, the cockroach of the week, according to Bossier Watch and Duke Lowry and Rex Moncrief, is
Raymond Cruz legislative assistant, Allie Feaster Smith. Thank you, Allie.
Well, I'm not thinking Star Wars at all. I'm thinking zombie apocalypse.
No way,
Okay,
it was not
okay.
David. You know it wasn't David Montgomery. David ain't gonna jump off in there with Chris. He ain't gonna do it. He'd soon spit on him as he would even look at him. Man, this is a Mickey D's Krispy Kreme wheat. Didn't you know? Who's paying y'all? And if you're driving on the roads, are you safe?
It's on the road, yeah.
Well, I know you're on the road, but I mean, is this all folks coming from the border down there?
Yeah, it's going to the border. It's actually going to Mexico and buses.
Doesn't mean they interpret it the same way that I do. For instance, the Second Amendment. I take it very literally. That's been interpreted different ways in the court system all the way up to SCOTUS. Yeah, that's only going to cause more division that he claims he doesn't want to cause. And it's only going to cause more suspicion. We're still right now combined on both pages and YouTube at 264 people watching. That is amazing. Faux Coleman Project, the Walker Place deal. Through conscious, shocking actions. The purpose of their actions was to stop plaintiffs, being the Earl Coleman and associated groups and all that, from developing Walker Place. But here's the key thing, which in turn would enrich sitting city council members Scott Irwin and David Montgomery Jr.
You hit the button. Does that mean that people are seeing us sitting here talking and chatting?
In theory, it's an every week thing. We got to double check and make sure it's like a miracle any of this actually works. This Bossier Watch live broadcast is brought to you by the Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. Smarter Geek, making technology easier. And folks sharing information and watching out for Bossier. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go. Well, can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Could you hear me during the countdown?
I could not hear you.
Well, my little
can you
thing
hear
was
me,
not.
Jimmy?
I don't know. Well, I just upgraded the eCam, and we run the bleeding edge version. So for some reason, I lost my off-air audio, so I couldn't talk to you behind the scenes. So I didn't share out to anybody because I didn't know who you were sharing to, and I didn't want us to double dip and then get kicked off some Facebook groups. So anyway, I don't know if we're. We'll see tonight.
I shared to a couple, but not very many at all, because of about the same reason. Yeah, so we're on the same page and thinking the same thing. But hey, back to this positive stuff. Yeah. So there's one positive thing. I mean, the Hank Williams concert was great, and Christopher Norris, he doesn't listen to no country. I mean, he listens to Brad Paisley. I gotta say, I like Brad Paisley. I like that song. Waiting on a Woman. That's a good song.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, how could he not like? We're rolling downhill like a snowball from hell. I just don't get that one.
Hey,
I like that song.
Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. See, I'm the mid to late 80s through mid 90s country guy. I mean, I like some of the stuff now, don't get me wrong, but that's my favorite era. But on a more positive note, there are lots of great country singers coming along these days.
Oh yeah. I mean, I mean, it don't even sound like country. It sounds like just what he says he likes: hip hop and R&B. And I like hip hop and R&B too.
Well, I do too, and I mean, I've liked it for actually quite a while. I have a very wide and varied taste in music, and I'm actually going to try to somewhat smile this week. I really don't usually smile that much, but on our positivity note, I'm actually going to try to smile some tonight at least. Well, this positive stuff is great.
I just want to know, did you get the opportunity to go by the courthouse and see all of the nice flowers in the front and how beautiful it looks?
Well, I have been by there and I did notice that. It's springtime outside and Bossier is such a beautiful city and we have those beautiful water towers that they have such an excellent paint job on those and they're so supportive of our military and our first responders. I can't imagine a better place to live. Can you, Duke?
I can't either. The only thing I can think of that would make things better is if the Walter O. Bigby was finished, but it's like 90%. It's ahead of schedule, 8 days, and that's all good.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're coming in probably right around the budget, so I'm sure that's positive. And they finally did have to close down Shed Row, but in 2020 hindsight, I think that's a great thing too.
Yeah, as well. And hey, our good mutual friend, Rusty Lombardino, he is safely at home out of the hospital. You may not have known he was in the hospital, but he went in and they let him come back home today. So he's good.
Did he have too much Two John's Steakhouse to eat? Because that's, he posts about Two John's, which has beautiful food and actually good food too. The couple of times I've been there.
Now, I'm not going to say anything, but it is good food, but I'm not going to say nothing about the quantity that he eats there because he eats there a lot. So it must be good.
Yeah. So what else? Oh, there was a great thing between the firemen and the policemen, apparently. They had a fundraiser, with the fight deal, the firemen, the Battle of the Blue or whatever they call it, red versus blue, whatever they call it in Bossier anyway. And according to the city council meeting and the mayor's office and all that, that was a great thing. They raised lots of funds.
Yeah, and Councilman Smith, Councilman Hammonds were there to represent the council, and they did a good job. But in addition to that, the mayor, the fire chief, and the police chief, they were even there, and that was great.
Yeah, everybody was playing nicely in the sand, and during the city council meeting, the mayor was advocating and reminding all of us voters to get out there and vote for those salaries and vote for those firemen and police departments.
He sure was. He sure was. And hey, they are building a new building out there for the Walbrook ballpark for somebody to be able to use, not the citizens, but somebody to use. I mean, I got to be careful here. So that's going to be a nice building out there.
Yeah, and look, Val Baker says in the comments, he says this is the O in the Bossier Water Tower over here on 220, which is, heck, I can almost see it looking out my window, is missing the O. Don't worry, Val. I'm sure Manchac's going to take care of that, or whoever the contractor is for that. I'm sure they'll get that taken care of pretty soon. As a matter of fact, I think that's in Councilman Jeff Free's district, I think, because he's my city councilman. So I'm sure that they'll get that taken care of post haste.
Yeah, and I don't know, that's a lot of positive. I don't know how much more positive I can spew out.
I don't either. Maybe we should just hit finish and be done with the show tonight.
Well, look, I just don't know. I mean, this was the positive show, and I really don't have anything else. So,
well, the port's got lots of business coming in, lots of new business, I hear.
Oh yeah, that's right. They got more business than they know what to do with.
Why we're surprised by
somehow I just lost you. That's not good. That's it for Duke. We're out of here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hold on. I got to bring you back. There we go. Yes,
with a green screen.
We are definitely having issues tonight, people. I don't know what this is. Maybe, are you trying to share your screen?
I am. So why don't you go ahead and go to it?
I can't. Maybe you should quit that because it's flickering between you and Joe Biden. And as positive as I am tonight, that's going to make me sick.
Well, there we go.
All right. Now I've lost you again. Why don't you try going out and coming back in? I just had him audio. So anyway, folks, Duke will be right back in. We're on the bleeding edge of software here. So, literally I updated, which is not the best deal in the world. All right, so let me assign Duke. Let me get him back in here. Guest Duke. There.
So all this positivity went out real fast, didn't it?
Oh, that didn't take long. All right. What are we actually going to talk about tonight?
Whoa, I got to get my screen back. Let me try this one more time. I mean, in the spirit of positivity, let's see if this will happen or if it'll. Yep, did it again.
It did it again and is not liking it. So
Okay.
Technical difficulties tonight, but on the positive note, I'm sure we'll get them fixed here in just a minute. Any moment now.
We'll share the first link in the notes that I put in there from Charlie Kirk. It's a little short video.
I'll try, but you've got to go out and come back in because I have no video of you. Try again. If at first we don't succeed, we try again 2 or 3 times till we get it right. Ah, there you are again. Welcome back.
So, in the spirit of positivity, even Joe Biden is getting into the spirit of positivity. I mean,
we're in good company then.
He's telling everybody like it is. I mean, he's not even holding back now.
All right, so give me a minute and I'll try to get this set up on the screen here. Just a second. Let's see. Share my screen. Where is share my screen?
All this for 8 seconds.
Yeah, for 8 seconds of video. The things we go through, folks, to try to be positive on this show. All right, let's see here. Let me make sure I got some good audio. We'll crank that baby up. Here we go. Let's try it now. And now.
In a sense, I don't know why we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted? In a sense, I don't know why we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted?
I mean, he's so positive. He's finally just being honest.
He's finally telling the truth. I got to say, Duke, that's pretty amazing. That's a great share of positivity tonight.
I couldn't resist that one. I just couldn't resist. I mean, sorry, Christopher. I just couldn't help myself.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, yeah. So in the spirit of positivity, Biden is finally telling the truth. All right.
Well, so there was a police jury meeting this past week, and there wasn't a ton of stuff really happened at that police jury meeting. And well, I guess I'm kind of putting the cart before the horse in all that we're going to talk about. But police jury, there's some Cypress Park news, Bossier City Council. I mean, and got a lot of miscellaneous stuff that we got to talk about.
I've got some information I want to share on the whole millage thing this weekend. I know a lot of folks probably early voted, but we had some questions about that, so I'm going to share that out and try to be as positive as I can and throw as much of a positive spin as I can on that. This police jury meeting, though, I haven't seen any of this. So what do I need to go to? The 141 mark?
Yep, just load it up, go to the 141 mark, and I think you may jump back a little bit before the 141 mark, maybe 140 and a half, and listen to a little bit of the commentary. And okay, everybody, in the spirit of positivity, I want y'all to listen to what Rex is going to say after we start playing this video.
Okay, so, well, after Rex shows the video on the screen, again, well, all right, here we go. So let me see if I can do this. And here we go. No, we're not. Well, we have that, but no audio.
Ends April 20th, and then, of course, the actual voting is on April 27th.
That's terrible. Hold on a second, Duke.
That sounded awfully. That sounded awfully negative to you.
I know. Hold on just a second. Let me try this again because in the spirit of positivity, I want to give them every fair chance I can. All right, here we go.
In leadership there now, especially want to comment, Jimmy Hall was especially important getting that location for Bossier Parish to do that.
He's talking about the library, new library, where they put it.
Early voting ends April 20th. And for a lot of you, the library is the only thing on the ballot. It's going to be low turnout. And as everyone knows, it is the only source of funding for that great library we just opened. So I hope you'll encourage your family and friends to go out and early vote if they can, but it ends April 20th. And then, of course, the actual voting is on April 27th. That's all I have.
And also, Patrick, not just for the new library, but, Halton's in dire need of a new library. And so just passing this
No,
merger
no,
the
let
wrong
it just
ways
let it
and
play to
replacing-
the end.
Since we have a
And
new
listen
director
at the
down
very
there, we
end.
wanna upgrade that building also. We have the land.
The hell?
Okay. Meeting adjourned. Now, before y'all get up, we got another meeting.
It won't take long if y'all be quiet.
You don't take long, you gotta be quiet.
Go ahead. Roll call, Miss Megan.
Oh, wait a minute.
Whoop, that's the end of that.
Why can't we see the next meeting?
What happened? The meeting after the meeting?
No, no, wait a minute. We're trying to be positive.
Oh, so maybe Philip thought there was supposed to be another meeting and everybody else did too, but then there really wasn't, and so they were correct in ending that meeting and ending the stream. How's
No,
that
they
for
had
positive?
they had another meeting, but you're only entitled to see one meeting.
Well, maybe that's because they didn't have enough bits to push out of their pipes at the police jury.
Well, no, they have
room.
to have the secret meeting. You know, they have to have the secret meeting. They can't show everybody the secret meetings.
You're making it difficult for me to remain positive.
But look, what did you notice about this video? What did you notice about this video?
Well, I noticed that I didn't have to boost the audio quite as much, but it was still only on one channel, which means that you're only hearing it on one speaker if you have a dual speaker system. But other than that, I did notice the video was a little bit cleaner.
And the audio was you could hear
better.
Was better. You could understand what they were saying. I mean, they're trying, and
Well, I only had to boost it to 250% to be able to hear it through the system. But okay.
That was
And
the
they did-
positive.
Yeah,
You
and
could
when they
hear
said
it,
the
and you could
meeting was,
understand it.
they said when the meeting was over, and they just ended it. The heck with the next one. The next one was probably some administrative meeting or something like that anyway. We didn't really want to hear that. Nobody goes to the meetings anyway.
Nobody cares about the meetings anyway. So why should they only publish but just the one that, they have to, so that they check that box, and the other one, so what if they're, having the other meetings off to where y'all can't see it? Because nobody cares anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, nobody goes to the meetings. Nobody shows up. Nobody gripes. We're so dadgum lonely on our behind the cameras here.
But look, okay, so, to the substance of what Patrick was saying, he did say about the library tax coming up. In the last show, we kind of went through all of them, and I think we'd come to the conclusion that we're gonna be against all of them.
Yeah, but we got called out on that.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, and I want to say we probably deserve some of the criticism because people were saying that, wait a minute, if you vote no against the city millages, now I'm kind of switching gears just a little bit, so stay with me. If you vote no against the city millages, which is what we had advocated and took the position on, then you're voting against police and fire pay. I mean, that's a legitimate thing, and maybe we need to rethink our positions on those.
Oh, so we're against police and fire.
Yes, we're anti-police, anti-fire.
Oh, okay. So we're anti-police and fire. Got it. Okay. Well,
yeah, that's
look,
it.
It's a free country, and everybody is entitled to their opinion, and they're welcome to criticize us. They're even welcome to cast false. Well, anyway, I'm kind of going negative, but back to the library thing. Back to the library, because I'm sure we're going to get back to Bossier City. I got to tell you, I listened to what Patrick's saying, if what Patrick is saying is correct, and I hate to send you on another hour of your time, but I don't know. Maybe somebody in the comments can say, but the library renewal, it produces a pretty good amount of money. And the position we were taking before was that, okay, over the years, they've been taking and rat holing that money so that they had a big nest of money to be able to build this brand new big library. Well, then, our next question was, well, then what are they going to do again? Are they going to rat hole all this whole bunch of money again? And then what? What are they going to do with it?
I don't know. So refresh my memory. Isn't there already basically, Houghton's always been so confusing to me because it's like, where is Houghton? Like, Houghton is where the Sonic and the Brookshires is, not too far from my house. But Houghton is also like across on the other side, on the south side of I-20. It's like Houghton is this huge expanse. I don't know. It's so confusing. But correct me if I'm wrong, dude.
Oh, okay.
Hear me out.
All of you. Okay. You got a statement to make.
Well,
by all means, go ahead.
It'll be a two-part bit of confusion on me, and then I would like for you and our audience to help clarify this situation for me. Number one, what are the boundaries of Houghton? Number two, I thought Houghton already had a library. It's like out there past Swamp Daddies or something like that. I've been by it, but or maybe I forget what road it's on. But I thought they already had a really nice one out there in the middle of nowhere. So is that the case? And then I guess maybe Houghton might need another library for those folks that are closer into Houghton proper. And maybe on this side of the interstate, maybe on the north side of the interstate, maybe they do need a library. But anyway, so clarify that for me. What is Houghton city limits? I mean, what is Houghton considered? And number two, address the library location.
Okay, now let me get your terminology correct here, because you're not using the correct terminology. And anybody, any self-respecting Houghton person, they would be using the correct terminology. So when you hear them and you hear them use these words, you'll know what they mean.
Okay.
So when they say Houghton describes the area of the bayou right by the racetrack, Dogwood, all the way north up Bellevue Road, almost all the way to Bodcall, but not quite to Bodcall, because some of them people up there we just don't claim. But anyway, 157, all the way up to Highway 80, kind of around in that area, because the Princeton people like to be a little bit of different, but we still consider them Houghton. And then out Highway 80 a little ways, and then out towards the ammunition plant.
Right.
That's considered Houghton. Down south.
Is that like West Houghton or something?
It's just
or
Houghton.
East. I guess actually it'd be East Houghton.
It's just Houghton.
Okay,
then south of Houghton, all the way down there to Sligo Road, historically named the Sligo 500 in the 80s. That was what that was called. Now it's all populated and stuff. And that is Houghton proper. Well, then you've got H-Town.
Oh.
H-Town is actually the city limits of Houghton. The downtown city, that's H-Town. So there's two different places. You got Houghton and you got H-Town. Now, does that clarify it?
It's a little less confusing. And on a positive note, I'm less confused about Houghton. How about that?
Houghton's a big place. It's a big old place.
Now, let's address the library question, because am I crazy, or is there not a library out there in Houghton towards, the Bistano-ish direction?
I'm not sure about out towards the Bistano-ish direction, but I do know up there off of Bellevue Road, right there next to the Sonic and all that, you've got the library there. That would be negative, so I'm not going to say that. Yeah, they got that library there, and there is one. Ricky Bridges points out down there, Coran. Hadn't been to that one in a coon's age.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, I think. And where am I crazy? I know there's one further out than that. I got to find that thing. So anyway, okay.
Yeah, Val Baker says the one next to the city hall.
Okay.
I forgot that used to be the post office, correct, Val Baker? And then they turned it into the city hall. I mean, no. I'm sorry. That used to be the post office, and they turned. No, I'm getting it backwards. I'm getting the building backwards.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking on Google Maps. Let me switch screens. Hold on. Zing. There we go. Okay. Well, that's not a very big screen, but anyway, forgive me, folks. So I'm trying to share out. There we go. My Google Maps, and so I'm just trying to look here and make sure. So these are all the libraries. Let me get the river over there on the kind of leftish side of it. So these are all the libraries that Google Maps knows about. I mean, if Google doesn't know about them, then I guess they really don't exist. So I guess we need. See, there's this one. Whoops. Hold on, let me zoom out a little bit. All right, there's this one right over here by Red Chute. You can see where my cursor is moving around. And then there's the Bossier Parish Libraries. I guess that's considered H-Town. Did I say that correctly, dude?
That'd be an H-Town, yep.
Okay. So maybe they need one kind of in the middle somewhere. I mean, why should folks have to drive 10 minutes this way or 10 minutes this way to get to a library? That's silly. They could just drive 5 minutes.
Well, on that note and all of this, here's what I would say. I got to tell you, I might be revising my opinion on the vote on the library tax. I might be favorable to that one.
Okay.
You know, because I think maybe they probably ought to expand those libraries, but they just can't let Juliana Parks be allowing all those books in there.
All those naughty books that she likes. She's
all those naughty books.
Triple X style books and all that.
As long as they'll agree to make sure all that comes out. But she's promised that before.
Yeah, well, promises. But on a positive note, maybe she'll make good on her promises or do better this time. Who knows? All right. So the library tax, are we kind of revising?
Well, I think I might be leaning towards supporting that one, you know, and if that tax goes as well to paying for the salaries of the folks and all there, you know, that's pretty important. Not that I want to give the police jury any more money to kind of screw away, because I think they've done a good job of doing that with the sewer district.
Right.
But you know, I mean, we need to have a good library system, and maybe that one maybe that one's a good one.
Okay. Well, maybe so. All right. So let's talk again about our stance on. Let's just go ahead and talk about our stance on the police and fire millages in the city of Shreveport. How about that?
Well, let's do the Cypress district real quick.
Okay, that's easy. I think I'm going to support it from now on.
Yeah.
I mean, all those lake owners and property owners up there at Cypress Lake that have those great big nice homes want the park there, Duke. Even mutual friends of us.
No, you see, what to keep this positive, I'm trying to help all of y'all that don't live up here on the water. And see, I'm going to vote against it. That way, y'all won't have to pay for it, and they will just increase the property owner fees, you know, like 1,000% on me to cover it, so all of y'all don't have to pay it.
What a guy. So that means you'll be paying for the Cypress Park, which I can then visit at no cost.
And I get no benefit from.
And you get no benefit because you never have any reason to go over there. But hey, aren't they having an auction? You might have a reason to visit the Cypress Park.
That is another reason why I wanted to bring this up. Obviously, I mean, did you know about this?
Well, I didn't until just a few minutes ago when I was looking at the show notes and actually trying to pay attention for our show.
So, you know, apparently there is going to be an auction of old, wore out, looks like beat up equipment at the Cypress district. And I can't imagine who beat the hell out of all this equipment up there, but apparently they're getting rid of some of it. Maybe.
Well, look, there's a good tractor. Don't you need a tractor for the crawfish farm? It's two-wheel drive, but still.
That tractor wouldn't get to my barn.
Well, maybe you need a bush hog sitting there. I mean, it looks like it's in okay shape. I mean, not that much can go wrong with a bush hog except for the gearbox.
Well, I'm also thinking that if that bush hog was turned loose in my place, I think the weeds and the bushes would win in the fight between the bush hog and the weeds and the bushes.
Okay. Well, how about this tractor here? It's what is it? An L4310?
Hey, look, you put a tire
Looks
on
like
it
a real
or two,
winner.
and an air conditioning. It might be, but I'm really not interested in that. Really, what I'm more interested in is that
interested.
or backhoe in the back.
That's what I was just looking at, that case backhoe sitting back there, and maybe
Because
even that aluminum boat with the Yamaha on it.
Well, I've seen that backhoe before.
Was that the infamous backhoe? But I know Robert Berry had written permission and reimbursed the Cypress district for the use of that backhoe. He had to have, Duke.
Well, if he did, I didn't hear about it. I mean, I know that we reported it. In fact, we showed video of. I mean,
Yes, but in
that
the spirit of positivity, because that's all folks want to see, apparently, because they don't show up at city council meetings and not too many of them at the police jury meetings. I'm going to have to say, after we reported that and you did your sleuthing like the Hardy Boys, I'm pretty sure Robert realized that he hadn't properly checked that equipment out from the police jury, and I bet you he must have reimbursed them, and I'm sure it was all on the up and up.
You're probably right. Let's be positive. I'm sure that, but they probably talked about that at the other meeting, the secret meeting, off camera, so that all of us wouldn't know that.
But
probably.
Us peons and all that did not need to hear all of that. Again, I'm going to do my damnedest to have a positive show tonight. Everything you say, I'm going to try to spin it positive.
Yeah. Well, I don't know
with
what
as little snark as I can do.
I have no idea what we're looking at in this picture at this auction, but it appears to be something on a gooseneck trailer. Maybe it is just a gooseneck trailer with a bunch of metal piled up on it.
You can take it and scrap it. I wonder what Ben's going to ask for that thing.
That's got to bring enough money to build some big entertainment center, probably $1 million entertainment center out there. Bet you that'll get them over the line.
Hey, ride to the $1 million event center. And there is the forks to put the hay bales, the round bales, on that trailer. See? It's legit.
Yeah. So,
there's
again,
a creepy rape van that I'm sure they confiscated from somebody.
My gosh.
Looks like a serial killer Ted Bundy extraordinaire van to me, but whatever.
I'm out on the van. That'll be for somebody else.
Let's see.
Anyway, we're beating this to a pulp. So,
all right, here we go. Here's the other items.
Finish mower.
Yeah, there's another. That bush hog looks like it's in a little better shape. Maybe it's a better picture anyway.
I could dig them telephone poles if they were selling them, but. Yeah. So, hey, like I said, in the spirit of trying to help everybody who doesn't live on the lake up here, I'm voting against this. Just because I know they're trying their hardest up there at the Cypress District to turn that place around and to make it beneficial to everybody in Bossier Parish and Northwest Louisiana. But in the spirit of trying to help all of y'all, I'm voting against it.
Well. In the new spirit of positivity, I'm telling y'all, vote for it so they can go out and buy more soccer mom style minivans and auction them off later for all us folks. But just imagine what that van has been through. Imagine how many kids that van toted out there to the Cypress Park so they could go out there and see that zoo. After all, it is an extension of the Bossier Parish school system. Did you know it's also a gun-free zone? It is completely safe out there.
Ooh, I don't know where to go with that, Rex. I'm just another van.
Tinted windows.
I got
missing a headlight. Where do they come up with all these vehicles?
Oh, now we got a trailer for somebody.
Yeah, they must have seized that from the creepy rape guy serial killer that had the creepy van.
Now you're sounding very negative.
No, I'm being positive. They caught the guy and seized his equipment. See there? Is that a sheriff's logo I see on the center console of that boat?
It is. Do you get to keep the sheriff's logo?
It's pretty cool. All right. So anyway, they got a bunch of stuff out there. What the hell was
that? Concrete finisher.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. See there,
folks. If you want to go into concrete,
working on a foundation for your building. Yeah, there you go. All right. Anyway, so that's the deal. There's a bunch of stuff out there. We highly encourage you to go check that out. They've got lots of stuff. They need to raise all the funds that they can to continue doing all the positive things that they do out there at the Cypress Park for all us tax-paying citizens all over Bossier Parish and the state. It's only 1.54 mils, Duke. It's only going to amount to just a few dollars for all you people with your really expensive houses. Y'all can afford this anyway. And all those businesses, you can afford this anyway. What's it going to hurt you?
A vote no will make a better product in the end. A vote no
I
will
disagree.
create a better park in November.
This is turning into Siskel and Ebert. I disagree, Duke.
Watch what I say. Vote no. Vote
I'm
this
telling
down and
you,
watch what happens in November.
Vote
Everybody
for the
in Bossier
1.54 mils. Pay for that park. Pay for all the stuff that's going on in the past. Continue paying for it forward in the future. Look, they got to build back up their dam fund. I mean, like dam, D-A-M, not D-A-M-N fund. They got to build up the dam fund. The O&M fund, operations and maintenance account, which, kind of got used up. I guess they were doing some repairs to the dam and all that. So they need to build that back up just in case something happens to that dam. I mean, it's going to need some maintenance here pretty quick, Duke. They got to get some funding.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. When did they do that repair to the dam? See, that might change.
Well, they must have, because all the money got sucked out of there. We've shown it on the show. We showed the balance sheet.
No, but when were those repairs? Because there was supposed to be all this money in there for in the event there was
did it.
a problem.
They probably did it one weekend or overnight, and we didn't even know what was going on, and they fixed whatever might be wrong with the dam. I don't know.
Okay. So yeah, probably they did, and nobody cares and nobody goes to the meeting, so that's probably what they did. We just take their word
Bridges,
for it.
I agree, no more boat stickers, but look, if boat stickers is what it takes to get them out of a financial bind, whatever.
I mean, 1,000% increase if you live on the water. I mean, whatever it takes. We're here to serve benevolent overlords, not ask no questions.
See, you're coming over to my side. You're being a rebel, Duke.
Just got to dole out those hundreds. Cha-ching, 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 ching, ching, ching. I mean, they're just growing off trees. Ain't that what the federal government?
And you too can go out there and use the backhoe all you want.
And even pour concrete. Go in concrete business.
Exactly. All right. What else shall we talk about?
I'm thinking Bossier City. I mean, I think there's some positive things coming out of Bossier City.
Well, I'm quite sure that there is. Let me get to my notes over here. Is this now? I didn't watch the whole meeting, so am I reading this correctly? That there's a public comments phone number to call now?
Yeah, if you play the video and you watch the first 3 minutes of it, literally, and what I will tell you is when I saw it, I had to go back and I looked at it again and I was like, wait a minute, but the meeting was over after I watched the video. So I called the number and of course nobody answered, but I'm just wondering what would have happened if I'd have called the number, I mean, at the beginning of the meeting. But apparently, I don't know if you can only call in the first 3 minutes of the meeting because that's only time that the number showed.
Oh, really? Hold on a second. We got to find this mystery number. We got to help the city out and do all we can, do our civic duty here. So let me get the screen resized for just a second because we got to do our civic duty.
Christopher Norris says tonight's positive show of Bossier Watch is like the Twilight Zone.
Jeffrey Sadow says enough, Uncle. Hey, y'all are the ones doing it. Y'all don't show up to the meetings.
Nobody shows up to the meetings.
There was two people at the city council meeting? I mean, come on, folks. So y'all must want to see the flower gardens and the roses and all that hunky-dory good stuff.
And I will bet of the 100 people watching right now, I'll bet y'all can't guess who was one of the 3 guests that I saw in the audience. And you'll know exactly who it was.
Yes, no kidding. Yeah, I noticed the comments are I think everybody's confused. They don't really know what to say. There aren't that many comments rolling by tonight. So I want to find this phone number, Duke, this mystery phone number. Where is this thing?
How's that sound?
See it right there at the bottom?
Wow.
Do it again. One more time. There you
Wow.
Public comments on agenda 549-4595.
Welcome to the regular
8675309.
So, I'm just wondering what happens if you call that number
Councilmember Jeffrey Darby and the pledge
during the council meeting. Does that mean you get to address the council
Good
during the
question.
live meeting by phone?
Colonel Crockett, you were at the meeting. Surely they announced this at the meeting. In the spirit of positivity, I mean, they're trying to apparently be inclusive to get all the comments that they can.
I'm just saying it caught my attention, that this number was up there. I'd never seen that before. Maybe it's been there and I just don't notice it. But
It
I mean,
seems
as
like
soon
I
as
remember it popping up during the COVID time frame. I don't know if it was the same number, but I want to say I remember something like that during COVID. Maybe I don't know.
But
cool.
I think that this is a good thing for folks that are unwilling to do anything more than, call in. Trying
Yeah.
it's a outreach to be able to include more people to make it easier on you.
Sure. Yeah. Sure it is. Okay. So, what's our next timestamp to go to?
Well, at the 1413 mark, that was when they brought up the new building thing for Walbrook Park. And the only thing of substance that was said there was at the 17-minute mark, Cliff Smith had some pretty good comments regarding this expenditure. And I think you ought to play Cliff's remarks, and let's listen to what Cliff had to say.
Okay, so let me get up there close and let's hear it.
Cliff Smith, 1612 6th Street, Bossier City. I grew up playing ball my whole life. I love athletics. From the time I was 4 or 5 years old to the time I graduated high school, American Legion ball, adult softball, I played it all. This last year, I've had the privilege of coaching a middle school team. How does a $479,000 building benefit any of these kids? You need an office, you need a place to store equipment. Go get you a portable building for about $15,000 and save us a lot of money. How many of you guys have actually asked the people in your districts if this is a wise way to spend our money? I have. I've been in my district. I've walked the streets. This is the craziest spending that they've ever heard of. It's unnecessary and nobody benefits from it. Maybe it's going to be like that tower over in the circle. You can put your names on it and be proud of it. But I highly suggest first, before you vote on this, do a poll in your districts. Facebook has an easy way to do polls. Poll them and see how your constituents feel about this wasteful spending. Thank you.
Well, I've got to say, that just wasn't very positive.
Sure it was. He was encouraging them to consult with the people who elect them, or, I mean, they only having this meeting right here for the public to get up there and let them hear about it. I mean, but he's saying that y'all should do more. You should talk to the public.
Well, that's true, but I mean, why should they do that? It doesn't change anything at the polls.
Oh, I agree. Why should the councilman go and do anything more? I mean, because there's only 3, and Lisa Johnson was there, but there's only 3 people plus Lisa Johnson. But Lisa Johnson doesn't sit in front of the camera to where people can see that she's there.
No,
she's hiding over in the corner.
No, it's just so she can say she was there, And we love you, Lisa. I'll vote for you for mayor, probably.
Only if we get to bungee jump off the bridge. I mean, because if we don't get to bungee jump off the bridge, I'm going to tell you, me and her are going to have problems. It's going to be a negative Bossier watch.
Go back to status quo.
Yeah, she's going to make us reverberate back. But, I mean, look, Lisa was getting all kinds of credit. I mean, the library thing, they were trying to give Butch Ford the credit for putting together such a great event at the library. And then somebody in the end said, "Oh, Lisa, thank you for putting the thing on."
Yeah. My positivity is beginning to wane, Mr. Lowry. Especially the closer we get towards the end of this meeting, my positivity is beginning to wane.
Well, your test is coming up here real quick, but they made it right. I mean, the end conclusion and positive thing there was they made it right.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I'm sure they did. All right. So what's our next timestamp that we need to go to?
Well, I think that you had a timestamp of Tommy on.
Yes. So hold on just a second. Let me do a little screen swapping for just a second. Bear with me, folks.
And here will be the test of your positiveness. So for all of y'all watching, y'all take note of how good Rex is able to maneuver this little section of the show and make it positive. I'm dying to watch it myself,
Yeah.
y'all.
So what was this? About the 3704 mark, I think, Duke. Okay. Let
It
me
was at the end. It was at the
yeah.
end.
Yeah. All right. So I think it was at about the 3704 mark. I had a little note here. So let's hear what Tommy had to say. Here we go.
I want to make sure that all our citizens are aware that this vote is a renewal. It is not a tax. It is simply to renew the tax that we already pay.
Wait a
that
minute.
provides for salaries and equipment for our firefighters and our police departments.
Hold on.
Safety.
Wait, I'm going back.
I want
Let's
to make
listen
sure
again.
that all our citizens are aware that this vote is a renewal. It is not a tax. It is simply to renew the tax that we already pay. That provides for salaries and equipment for our firefighters and our police departments.
Hold on.
Safety.
Do it again.
I want to
Groundhog
make
Day.
sure that all our citizens are aware that this vote is a renewal. It is not a tax. It is simply to renew the tax that we already pay. That provides for salaries and equipment for our firefighters and our police departments.
Okay.
Did he just say that provides for salaries?
Well, the first thing that he said was it's not a new tax, in which I'm confident that's right. It's not a new tax. Everybody's been paying it. It's a renewal. It's not a new tax. Yeah, that's right. But then he said,
Yeah, I mean, some people squabble over the semantics of new and renewal and blah, 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 but I would tend to agree with you. It's been on the books for a long time, therefore it's not a new tax. It is a renewal of an existing tax. But go ahead, Duke, because I want to make sure I heard what Tommy said.
Okay, I did hear the words come out of his mouth. He said salaries and equipment. Those two, we can play it again a fourth time if anybody wants to dispute that, but the word salaries came out of his mouth.
All right, so by a show of hands, or let me know in the comments, would you rather me try to put this in a positive light, or would y'all rather me get on my damn soapbox about this?
No. We said we're going to try to spin everything positive, so you've got to spin this positive. You can't go calling in phone a friend here for everybody.
I've got it. I know how I'm going to do this. I figured out how to put a positive spin on this. And you know how I'm going to put a positive spin on this, Mr. Lowry?
I'm dying to hear this.
I can say positively that Tommy, our disappointing mayor, who is a nice guy, but other than that, a complete disappointment as a mayor, I am positive that son of a gun just lied through his teeth. He didn't misspeak. He didn't misspoke. I'm quite positive that he just lied outright. He didn't even try to spin his words like his CIO did on the news blast, where he was parsing and mincing his words carefully to not mention salaries. Tommy just flat out lied. If somebody running against him for mayor doesn't play that over, Lisa Johnson, you're in the comments. You're watching the show. Here you go. See, this is campaign strategy for when you run against Tommy. All you have to do is play that over and over and then have somebody come in with one of those cool voiceovers that actually explains what the millage is for, not lies about it. I am positive that is what just happened.
How do you know that he didn't just misspeak? And, that it wasn't
He was reading from a prepared speech. Tommy can't speak extemporaneously and off the cuff very well.
He was reading. Well, how do you know somebody didn't set him up?
Hold on. Let's make sure. I backed us up to the timestamp, and I'm pretty sure if you look at Tommy right over here, I'm pretty sure he's reading prepared statements, right?
I'm not disputing that he's not reading. I believe he's reading, but I'm just I'm
I
trying
am
to be positive.
I am positive he's reading.
I'm positive too. We're both positive on that.
Okay.
But you said he's lying. I mean, how do we know that somebody didn't just stick this paper in front of him and put it on there for him to read and he doesn't know?
Well, I guess that could be the case. I mean, yes, they could have put it on the piece of paper. They could be setting him up and he's just how can I spin this in a positive way? He blinked his eyes when he got to that sentence and didn't realize what was happening. And
Well,
he
wait
just
a
read the
minute.
prepared
Wait a
script.
minute. Wait a minute. Hold
I
up.
don't, I really
Hold
don't
up
know
a
how to
second.
spin that.
Because, I mean, you know, you got to back this up, because you're saying that he lied, in which I got to tell you, when you're saying that he lied, I mean, that sounds awfully negative. It sounds like
Well,
you're saying it's negative. So you got to
I'm
prove that,
positive. I'm positive he lied,
or else that's you being negative.
But I'm positive that maybe he didn't mean to lie. Maybe he.
Okay.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he didn't mean to lie, because if you go back and look at ordinance number 106 of 2020, it's right here. I mean, I screenshot this right off the ordinance, so you can go back and check it yourselves, folks, and put my cute little curly things on there. But look, number 4 is the 2.71 mils is listed as for the purpose of operation and maintenance of the fire and police departments, including salaries. That is mill key 507-8005, which is the identifier number for that particular millage, because it does fluctuate sometimes depending on whether they're roll forward or roll backwards or sideways or whatever they do with the millages. But it does clearly say including salaries in this particular ordinance, which is still on the published website of the city of Bossier for 2020.
So, but that's not the mill that he's talking about. The two that he's talking about is not that one.
He's talking about the 8.32 and the 2.71.
Okay, so in 2020 it says it includes salaries, but the one today you're saying it doesn't include salaries?
Well, so let me
confused.
switch. I'll see. I was a little confused first, but apparently it was probably just a typo. They didn't really mean to do it, because if you look at the budget, this is the draft budget for 2024 as listed. I think it was in January or whenever they posted, but you can go check it on the website. See down there, the the yellow highlighting is the 8.32 mils, and it says fire and police departments, and then 2.71 fire and police departments, okay? Those are the two millages that are on the ballot for Saturday, the 8.32 and the 2.71. Notice in green, it says fire and police salaries, which is the 5.98 mils, which I believe they enacted, was it in 2020? Sometime around there, somebody correct me. That is dedicated to the salary. So I think what Tommy had done was accidentally pulled up the minutes of the meeting back in 2020 and looked at that incorrect, erroneous ordinance from back then, which listed it as a salary, and he must have just assumed that it meant for salaries. He didn't realize it was a typographical error. So, see there, I'm giving Tommy the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he didn't lie. I'm sorry, Tommy. I should not have accused you of being a liar.
Okay, so how could that have been if it's simply a renewal of the same, how could it have been for salaries in 2020 and it's not for salaries in 2024?
Because look, hold on. Wait, there's more. Let's fast forward to the bond commission meeting minutes from the February 15th bond commission meeting. And notice I put a nice little red curly thing. Notice for Caddo Parish, so bear with me for just a second. For Caddo Parish, they specifically mentioned that their bond is for salaries. It says paying salaries. But if you look at the yellow highlighting up there, the Bossier City bonds, that same 8.32 mils and the 2.71 mils, are operating and maintaining the fire and the police departments only. No mention of salaries.
Well, couldn't, and what I would go on and say is in the Caddo Parish one, it doesn't say operating as it says in the Bossier ones. Could it be that salaries are actually in the operating language?
Well, it could be, but there's further proof. Again, I think Tommy just accidentally Googled. He didn't know what he was doing. He accidentally Googled and pulled up, probably on his own without help from his staff, that ordinance 106, I believe it was from 2020, where it mentioned salaries. And so he thinks that all this is for salaries. I mean, because, look here, our good friend Jeff Sato from Bossier Views says Bossier City has 2 items on tap, both of which are identically dedicated to public safety operations and maintenance. They're both 10 years starting in 2026, by the way. But notice down there where I have it red underlined, these do not cover salaries, which are supplemented by a 5.98 mil measure approved at 6.19 mils back in 2020. Remember, it's that whole roll forward, roll backwards, roll sideways. We need to get Bobby Evanston on the show one of these days and have him explain how all that works. Maybe we can make that happen.
So either it has salaries or it does not have salaries in it. We're actually going to have to get into detail here because I think that it doesn't include salaries in there. But
well, I don't know. Do y'all believe Tommy or do you believe just Sadow? And actually, what the millages say in the bond commission minutes. Which one do y'all believe? Do y'all believe Tommy or do you believe Jeff Sadow on the bond commission? Which one? And the budget. Don't forget the actual Bossier City budget, which apparently Tommy didn't read the budget. Again, he must have read the 2020 ordinance, which erroneously said it was for salaries. He obviously didn't read the budget, which he's supposed to submit to the city council, by the way. But obviously he didn't even read the damn budget. And I'm sure he's busy taking selfies. I want to be positive about this. He probably didn't have time. He was out taking so many pictures at the ribbon cuttings with Lisa and all that as she was trying to see what his campaign strategy was to build her campaign strategy when she runs for mayor. See, I'm trying my damnedest to spin this in a positive way as best I can.
Well, I mean, look, you done lost the positiveness a long time ago there. I think the only one left positive on this on this show is me. I'm sorry, bud. I'm trying to be nice here, but you done went off into negative Nelly land.
It's just the snarkiness creeping back in. I'm trying to spin this as best I can, Duke. Look, even the Bossier City Firefighters Association, they say right there in plain English, where I have it highlighted in yellow, failure of either of these millage renewals will lead to layoffs in both departments.
Well, if they don't pay for salaries, I'm dying to know how there will be layoffs in both the police and fire department. I got to know the answer to this question, because if salaries are not in either one of these 2 millage renewals, then you would be right that both the Firefighters Association is, they're not telling things exactly as they are, and the mayor's not telling things exactly as they are.
All right, so I'm a little confused on this point. As I was for the hour before we were, scheduled to go on air for this show, and as I was frantically digging around trying to figure out how to become unconfused about these millages. So explain to me, Duke, what you mean about that. I mean, surely if the Bossier City Firefighters Association, and look, I don't want to, talk negatively about any of the fine firemen we have in the city. They've always been super responsive the couple of times we've needed them and all that good stuff. But surely they would not mislead the public or their fellow firefighters. I mean, surely if these millage renewals don't pass, they're going to have layoffs in both departments. Surely.
Well, a lot of times the leadership and or bodies that represent the fire and the police, they, I hate to say it, have to carry the water of the elected officials to get things across the line. I think somewhere on some social media show, I have heard the words that the fire and policemen are the wedge against the public. I think I've heard that before. And
that does sound familiar.
They've got to kind of carry the water a little bit. And I think previously on our show, when we were discussing this tax, that we were saying that if you actually wanted to see the fire and police department actually get raises and a salary commensurate with all the other departments and not at the bottom of the food table, you would beat this thing back, because just like the library board, just like the Cypress District and Bossier City, because you know what they'll do? They're just going to turn around and put all of this. They may amend it a little bit, but they'll turn right back around and put it back on the November ballot, because you got to understand, this stuff doesn't expire. It isn't going to expire when you go vote. It's going to expire like next year. I mean, there will still be time. There'll still be time for you to vote on it again.
Yeah, you're saying that potentially, in the spirit of positivity, if people wanted to find out exactly what the city council is up to with their dollars that are generated, or the tax dollars that are generated by these millages, then maybe people should go ahead and vote these millages down, because the city would have plenty of time to get out on their soapboxes and hold town hall meetings and all that kind of good stuff, and actually walk the neighborhoods and talk to their constituents and do all those sorts of things that real politicians should do, and elected officials, and explain why the hell they keep saying that these two particular millages are for salaries when in fact they're not. Is that what you're saying, Duke?
In Bossier City, you want to know what they would do? What they would do is they would get the firemen and policemen to go out door knocking on their days off, go into everybody's door in Bossier City to support the renewal the next time around. That's what they would do.
Oh, okay. Now, does civil service regulations and all that allow firemen to do that?
Well, you can't support or oppose a candidate for political office, but an initiative, I think that a pay raise deal, I think you can. What I would say,
okay,
the 1994 passage of it, they dang sure nobody in city government filed any complaints with Civil Service Board about politicking for it, because I literally was out knocking door to door, and they didn't bring no political activities charges up against me then.
Okay, so they could actually do one of those boot campaigns at red lights, where they bang on your window till you roll your window down, and you got to drop money in there or be held hostage by a fireman at a red light.
Hey, that brings up a memory. I was doing that one time at Barksdale, there at the entrance to the West Gate. And so this woman pulls up to the light, and I got my boot there, and I'm shaking it. She rolls her window down, the light turned red, and she says, "Hey, there's a big, huge sign on the fire truck over there. It says Jerry's Kids." But she rolls the window down. She says, "Hey, what are you collecting money for?" And I said, "Well, we're trying to collect money to abolish male pattern baldness. There's a lot of men has problems with that."
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, well, in that case, hey, let me pull out a 10 rather than this dollar," and sticks a 10 in my boot.
Well, I mean, in the spirit of trying to spin this somehow positive, I would assume you were the poster child for that campaign then.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
All right, so here I have on the screen, in the background, the Bossier City Firefighters Association, their website highlighted in yellow up there. Failure of either of these millage renewals will lead to layoffs in both departments. But as we can clearly see from Bossier Views and Jeff Sadow, these do not cover salaries. The salaries are covered by a separate millage, which was approved in 2020. And as you can see right here, I have the budget pulled up, and I have it highlighted, that separate line item for the 5.8 mils for the salaries. That the 8.32 mils and the 2.71 mils don't include the salaries. They're for operations and maintenance. So y'all can make your own decision. That's it. I'm done.
That's it?
Yeah, I'm pretty much done.
Well, I mean,
that's about all the gas I got in me tonight.
Again, all I will say is, if these didn't pass, there is plenty enough time for the mayor and the council to come back to address pay and salaries. And this council meeting video where Chris Smith at the end of it asks the CAO about the salary study, apparently they're fixing to have that information. So in all actuality, it would probably be more proper for them to not have this vote now and have it in November, where they could amend it, and the public would then have the ability to address the pay issue or the pay scale issue.
Well, that actually does sound like a good thing. So, folks, we're not going to end the show just yet. I'm going to play that clip from Chris Smith where he asked about the salary studies. But in all seriousness, I mean, I've been as positive. I've been positive, or tried to be positive for nearly an hour. I just can't stand it anymore. Our stance is still vote no on the damn taxes. Send a message. You're not voting no to pay. There's zero reason for them to lay off anybody. The salaries are already guaranteed. They still have enough time to go out and campaign for these millages and put them back on the ballot again. They still have time, plenty of time to go back to the bond commission and do all this. Don't fall for the line of BS from Tommy or from any of the rest of them. That's why we're voting no. We're not against our Bossier City Fire and Police. We're very much in support of them. We want the tax man to have to explain to you, the voter and the constituent helping pay the taxes, why you need to do that. Make them do some splaining.
So a source that knows some numbers, messaged me and told me that they said fire and police have a combined budget of $39 million, of which $19 million goes to salary. And if we lose $8.2 million a year in revenue, people will definitely run a risk of being laid off. But no, these don't cover salaries. So the bottom line is again, by having these millage renewals, you free up money for police cars, fire trucks, ambulances, equipment, uniforms, all those incidental things. You free up all that money where it doesn't have to come from somewhere else. But yet we've done that, and yet our public safety people are underpaid, especially the police.
Yeah. Why is that?
Why is that?
Why?
And now you all are being threatened that if you don't, they're going to be laid off.
They're going to be laid off. You must be anti-fire, anti-police, blah blah blah. And look, we're basically the only ones that are coming out and publicly saying why you should vote no. And we're definitely not anti-fire and definitely not anti-police either, especially in Bossier City. Now, Christopher James Norris says, Mr. Rex, didn't you say you never called Jeff Free? The question is, has Jeff Free come and visit you as his constituent? Why no, Christopher James Norris? He has not. He hasn't ever called me. He hasn't even stopped me after the very few meetings, granted, that I've been to. Now, in his defense, when Duke and I were walking out of our interview with Lewis Johnson and we passed him and David Montgomery on the sidewalk, he did at least acknowledge us, unlike David Montgomery, who, if he would have had daggers in his hand, would have thrown the daggers at us. At least Jeff did give us some acknowledgement. But no, he hasn't.
You know what? David was just making the best that he could out of having a bad day. I mean, that was why. I mean, I had empathy for him as he was coming in because he was obviously depressed. Something negative was on his mind. And, I feel like he probably ended up having a really good day after that.
Probably so. I'm trying to, with what little spirit of positivity I have left, I don't know. I think he's on Prozac or something. I don't know. Maybe they've got him medicated for, I don't know. He's been a zombie lately.
All right. So did you? What about the Chris Smith?
Yeah. Let's go do the Chris Smith thing. So hold on just a second. Let me get back over to Chris Smith. I think his is right after this. Let's see. Let's go back and play it.
Sure that all our citizens are aware that this vote is a renewal. It is not a tax. It is simply to renew the tax that we already pay. that provides for salaries and equipment for our firefighters and our police departments. That allow them to do their jobs and keep us safe every day. So I want to encourage everyone to say thank you in advance and for voting yes and supporting public safety in Bossier City. Also, Ms.
salaries.
Carroll has tomorrow
Not
a archery pro shootout. When? Saturday, okay, this weekend.
It's going to
A
pass.
national competition, which will be
Oh,
on
it will.
ESPN. It's going to be all in the Civic Center, so we'll get a little publicity.
While they're
on that,
having it in the
too.
spring.
So other than that, everything else is going great in Bossier City. Thank you.
Everything's going great.
Everything's hunky dory. See, I told
Ms.
y'all.
Nottingham, do you mind if I put you on the spot? Do you have any update from SSA on where they're at on the salary study that you could provide?
Yes, we
Salary
are
study.
scheduling a meeting to go over the preliminary information. He just emailed me this morning. And it will be during that first week of May. I think May 9th is the tentative date. And so we'll get some information then. We're excited about that. So they've done a lot of work, and we're anxious to see what that will hold.
Thank you.
And I did want to give a really quick update also. In the legislature, there were some amendments made to the capital outlay bill. And part of that is the 4-lane at Colleen Drive, which will have a significant impact on the city, and also some improvements at Benton Road at 220. So we were excited to see that put into the bill, and hopefully those amendments will pass, and we'll see those projects come forward.
Thank you.
So that is a good report, and that's a good segue into this next section. And I'm glad that she reported on that. There's a lot flying around in the legislature. And, I've got a little section here called miscellaneous. And one of the things, remember in the legislature, remember HB 273?
Refresh my memory.
Okay, Scammerhorn.
Okay.
Apparently, Representative Scammerhorn brought a bill to pass term limits for your parish and municipalities, remember?
Yeah, okay. Yep, I remember that.
Well, he pulled the bill.
What? You don't say.
He pulled the bill.
Surely you jest, Mr. Lowry.
No, I'm serious.
Why would he do that?
Apparently he was getting pressure from, I can't imagine.
Is there a police jury association or something like that? Some lobbying group for police jurors? Lobbying group for city councilmen? David Montgomery probably personally went down there.
Yeah, I can't imagine who all would be not wanting to be, forced to have to leave office. I can't imagine that. Yeah, he pulled the bill, and which brings up another subject. Term limits in Bossier. You remember anything about that?
I don't know. It's such a distant memory now. I remember there were some guys that walked some neighborhoods and did a petition, and then was it the city council or somebody sued one of those guys, and it turned into a lawsuit, and then it just got dropped.
Yeah, they went out. Those guys, it was a few people. They went out, and they had lots of promises of help from people, and wasn't a lot of people showed up to help, but a few people, they made a lot of sacrifices. They went out and they did something that was never done in Bossier City before. They got enough signatures per what was required in the city charter to make a charter amendment, and went through the process. And then you're right, the politicians fought it because they didn't want it, and sued, drug it into court, and found a judge that wasn't going to let it happen, and it got squashed. And so then a lot of people were mad and all wound up and made a lot of commitments about
got their pitchforks out and their torches and started marching.
They're going to be all in to do something. By gosh, we're going to all be on, and we're going to do it this time. We're going to do it again. And
that's right. We're not taking it anymore.
We're not taking it anymore, and it's gonna be right this time. And well, you know what? Not so much that I understand. I understand that's not really happening. In fact,
surely you jest again.
No, and in fact, there's not really a whole lot happening. There's only again just a couple of people toting the load and doing it. Again,
you don't say.
A lot of people
surely those guys down there on the sidewalk and our boisterous city councilmen, surely they're coming to your aid.
I'm being positive here. I'm just saying that there's only a few people that are doing anything at all, and it's not enough people to get the job done.
Surely the guy that sits in front of a microphone beside you 2 or 3 times a week and, tries to sell some Bossier watch hats every now and then, surely that guy has helped you too.
Look, I said no names. I'm just saying, that
I want to be fair. I want to call. We said from the get-go, we'll call everybody out. So I'm calling everybody out.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. But here's the thing. It's one thing to make commitments that you're going to do something. It's another thing to not do them. And it's not only another thing to not do it one time. It's another thing to not do it twice.
Consistency, though. Let's try a positive spin. Consistency.
You're right. Consistency is a positive. But you know what about consistency is? What is that old saying about fool me once, but you ain't gonna fool me twice? Remember that one?
Right. Well,
I'm
in
smiling.
my defense,
I'm smiling. I'm being positive, right?
In my defense, as the guy who tries to sell Bossier watch hats, which by the way you can get at bossierwatch.com or bossierwatch.org, same website. In my defense, I committed to help walk some, which I did once, but I committed to do what I do best, which is push the pixels around and make the digital side happen. And I did live up to that commitment, and it's still sitting there. But like you, waiting on folks to help, I'm waiting on other folks to step in with the ideas and stuff to make the content that was supposed to happen hasn't happened.
It doesn't matter about content. It matters about
walking and getting signatures,
souls on the pavement, and some of the air that comes out of people's body that makes sound to the ears.
Talking.
That don't matter.
We discussed from day one that the social media stuff and all that's great and looks good for the news media and all that, but in the end it comes down to the boots on the ground and getting those signatures. That's what it boils down to.
That's exactly what it boils down to. And here's the thing. A lot of people made commitments that they were going to do things. They haven't done things. They're still not doing things. And so I'm going to go on out here and I'm going to say, and I don't think it'll happen. I'm not negative about it. I mean, the reality is everybody, it seems like this is the way it is. Everybody expects somebody else to do it. They expect that somebody's going to come in and save the day for them. And the reality is that's not going to happen. The positive thing is you've got the opportunity to change your life, change your outcome, change the course of things. And if it happens because of you. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen because of you. It's just the way it is.
Can't argue with that.
So
Christopher James Norris, I just put the comment up there. He says, any update on term limits, Benedict Arnold? I think you just got your update there, Christopher James Norris. Read between the lines.
Yeah. So I'll put it to you like this. Everybody only has so much blood to bleed. And if people are not willing to step up for their own self-interest and to even do what they said they would do, then why should anybody else, make any sacrifices on their behalf? I mean, thank God nobody took that position in World War II in Europe, but you can't even get people off the couch to show up to a council meeting, much less do this. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out every way possible I can be positive here. So, positive thing is that, a week from today, Rex, if people don't jump up to help or whatever, I'm going to assume that everybody's lives are so great and so happy that they don't believe that we have any need for it anymore. And I think it will be time to just abandon the term limits effort in Bossier City. And for everybody who made commitments, y'all have it will all be on your shoulders. You made the determination that it's not worth doing anymore. So,
well, let me put up, as we kind of start wrapping the show up a little bit, I want to put up one quote here. Hold on. I misplaced my little screen button. Oh, here we go. This one. All right. So let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of that. And I want to put up a quote. So I've been watching a new series on Apple TV that has Michael Douglas in it as the actor, and he is playing Benjamin Franklin. And let me just say, if you subscribe to Apple TV, I've watched the first 3 or 4 episodes. So far, it's excellent. Unfortunately, I can't binge watch the next 3 or 4 episodes because, well, I have to wait for them to come out. But if you have Apple TV, it's actually an excellent series to watch. Very interesting. But Benjamin Franklin's famous response to Elizabeth Willing Powell's question, well, Dr. Franklin, what have we got? A republic or a monarchy? And he says, a republic if you can keep it. Well, we're supposed to have a democracy and basically a republic, even at the micro level here, where we elect representatives to represent us, as in the city councilman. I'm not so sure we have a republic anymore because maybe nobody really wants to keep it. They just don't care.
And I think that's the case for all of our government. I mean, people are content with just allowing local governments to do whatever they want. And it's not just the local governments, it's the federal government as well. And a republic, if you can keep it. Well, I would contend we can't keep it. I would contend that it's lost and nobody is willing to do anything about it. The people of today don't care anymore. They're all content in their life, and they're happy. I'm glad they're happy, and I hope that when it all starts coming apart, that they will continue to be happy. And I don't know. I'm trying to be positive.
I'll put a little more bluntly, and I'm not referring to everybody that's watching the show, obviously, but I am talking to some of you. It's kind of like being a preacher on Sunday when he's delivering a sermon. Sometimes you think the preacher's talking directly to you, but really he's just giving a general message, and you need to be holding up a mirror. So here's the deal. We're at show 202, not including Louisiana Watch stuff. We've been doing this since 2021 now, I think. October the 6th of 2021. And we're going to continue doing it. But we can only do so much. Really. I mean, we can only get on our soapboxes so much. We can only get in front of the news cameras so much. And we can only help push the term limits issue so much. And I say we like I have a mouse in my pocket. Really, it's been this guy over here that's been doing the lion's share of the work for the term limits, and Colonel Crockett, all right, and a couple of others. But we can only do so much. We can only get on our soapbox so long. Folks, you got to step up and you got to help.
And it's not just that. It's every part of government. I mean, it's your federal government, it's your state and local government. You can't just live your life every day as if, oh, that's somebody else's problem. It's fast approaching to be every one of your problems. It's going to be on your front doorstep very soon.
Everybody wants term limits, but nobody wants to work to get the term limits, which arguably we should already have. but we don't. Everybody wants it, but all they want to have to put out the blood, sweat, and tears to get it. So anyway, enough of my soapbox about that. I'm going to try to end this on a slightly positive note and say,
Whoa.
Go
we're
ahead.
We're not done with positive stuff. There's more
Uh-oh.
notes at the end of this show.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
How on earth could we do a show without talking about Walk on Water?
Who?
Walk on Water.
Who the hell is that? I think I remember that name, but it's kind of like the Bossier term limits thing. It's like a fleeting memory, fading memory.
That guy that can walk on water. He does no wrong. He's perfect.
That guy. As a matter of fact, he's kind of short like me. As a matter of fact, has gray salt and pepper hair. A lot of salt and pepper hair now.
And wearing some glasses. Yeah, like you.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Yeah. Oh,
He's
what's
about
that
your
guy's
height,
name?
too.
Got a super nice wife. Got some cute kids and all that. Really good kids. What was that guy's name? Oh, Mike Johnson. That guy. Okay. I'm sorry, Duke. I'd forgotten about Mike Johnson.
That's right. So, yeah, anyway, some interesting thing. He did a good thing today. He did a good thing. And just start going through the clips, and I will show you, the good that he did today. Because this is a good show. We're trying to be positive. I left there's a kind of a negative thing I left up there, but
okay. So let me switch screens again. Hold on just a second, folks. I think it's that one. Oh, well, we lost Duke. Stay right there, Duke. Don't move. Nobody move.
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, you're back. Okay. Well, he looks like kind of a positive guy. Is this the one you wanted to listen to?
Oh, no. This is that preacher from South Louisiana that was telling the story about when Mike Johnson abandoned all of the pro-life people on that pro-life legislation, and that Mike killed the pro-life legislation.
Oh.
So no, that's not it, because this
okay.
because that's not positive at all, and that link may make that's
all right.
kind of negative. No, we can't go to that one. I'm not sure how that one got in there.
Well, yeah. All right. So let me switch screens. Let me do this. And
seriously, guys, we're fixing to show something positive about Mike Johnson.
Here, is this what you're looking at?
Yeah, that right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So y'all see all the Democrats waving the Ukraine flag when yeah, and they were hooping and hollering, and everybody's, having a big kumbaya.
I was going to say, they're loud. Let me turn the volume down just a little bit. Let's listen to all this excitement. Hold on. Waving those cute little Ukrainian flag things.
Well, Walk on Water's got the gavel. I mean, what happened to order and decorum? But you got to pull that back up again. Pull it back up, and you got to read what Thomas Massey. Got to read what he said right there.
He said, it might be a little small for some of y'all to read because I don't have time to adjust the screen, but he says Democrats are celebrating his total capitulation, talking about Speaker Mike Johnson, our U.S. Congressman, his total capitulation with no victory for securing our border. We should make some little Ukrainian flags.
No. Keep going up above that.
Okay. Wait, there's more. Instead of fining Democrats for waving flags, the House Sergeant at Arms just called and said, I will be fined $500 if I don't delete this video post. Mike Johnson really wants to memory hold his betrayal of America.
All right, so keep scrolling down in the comments. And
wait, hold on. For some reason, it's not loading the comments. Hold on. Repost.
Well, anyway, you ain't got to. But if you go down in the
it.
comments, you will see countless photos and videos of the Democrats, having a good time, waving their flags and doing having just a good party about winning on the Ukraine funding. And that Mike Johnson, by the way, put forward. I mean, he was with the Democrats on all of that. Anyway, but none of them were being gone after by the House Sergeant at Arms to penalize them, because apparently they got a rule you're not supposed to be taking pictures of videos. But Thomas Massey, because he opposed it, the House Sergeant at Arms going after him and going to fine him for posting the video.
I wonder what the punishment for not paying the fine is.
So the question is, I mean, so Mike's getting into the censorship game because he controls the House Sergeant at Arms. I mean, he directs him. So is he or is he not? I mean, he just went all in on the FISA renewal.
Well, hey,
and the FBI.
we made one person happy tonight. Christopher James Norris, our beloved Democratic friend from across the river, says, here is a shocker. I actually 100% agree with MTG's speech Saturday about funding for Ukraine.
I'm shocked by that one as well, too. So I put another cut in the show folders, but, so here's the thing. Mike actually, I saw a tweet where Mike tweeted out that about 40 minutes to an hour after Thomas Massey's post, he basically said that he went to the Sergeant of Arms and had the Sergeant of Arms throw the ticket out.
Well, that was mighty nice of him. Way to go, Mike. You finally did something good. All right. Are you talking about the Ben Franklin cut? All
right. So he threw the ticket out. Mike's the judge up there, and he got him to throw the ticket out. I mean, he did a good. See, it turned out good.
Yeah, it's a positive spin on it. We'll wrap the show up on a positive spin.
Yeah, you got to love our legal system. I mean, the rule of law is just out for everybody in the public. I mean, look, where else can your elected officials do business of the government on their personal phone and it not be subject to public disclosure?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's kind of, well, I guess it's kind of like that throwing the tea in the harbor thing. Kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, and speaking of some of the founders of the country, and I think you quoted this one here earlier in the show, but I like this quote just a little bit better from him. And they that can give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. And I would contend, I'm sorry, I'm on a roll here. I would contend that everybody not taking a personal role in, their government, their local government, they're giving up even more than their personal liberty. I mean, they're giving up a whole lot more, but we have done that. Mike Johnson has done that. And we all are doing it by not taking a role like on term limits, but what's even more is saying that you will and then not doing it.
Yeah, I would agree. I unfortunately cannot disagree with that. That is the sad state of affairs that we find ourselves in, Mr. Lyle. Unfortunately. All right.
So
I've been as positive as I can. I ran out of positivity, had to switch back to snarkiness. We're trying to end on a positive note, but honestly, it's very hard to do when, that guy that we elected to go represent us in the House, and he, feels that those, I don't even know what color, what color are their flags? Like a light blue and yellow or whatever that is. Anyway, that those flags mean more than the U.S. flag, the stars and stripes. Their security means more than the security of the stars and stripes.
And and there's two other families that I wanted to, or actually three families. Kelly Hudson and her family, her father passed. Richie Jackson, longtime coach in Bossier Parish. I think Patrick Jackson's father, he passed away this weekend. I want to wish condolences to the family there. And Miss Avery from the Avery family, she passed, and the patriarch of that family. Two good people moved on to a better place, and I think they'll be better off than they are here with all of us fighting with government and hoping that people will take action.
I certainly cannot disagree with you on that. They are definitely in a much better place. All right, Mr. Lowry. Anything else that we should ramble about?
Have a good night, folks. Thanks for watching. Again, 1 week. Term limits or die.
Yep. We're out of here. See you next week.